Going to 127.55 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Ground Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy with Charlie request taxi to the active east departure.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy Ground Airport is currently IFR. Request denied.
St. Louis clearance delivery Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy ready to copy IFR clearance to Midway.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is cleared to Midway Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 right climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.15 squawk 02 tree.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy cleared to Midway Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 right climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure on 119.15 squawk 02 tree.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy readback is correct. Contact ground on 127.55 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Ground Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy with Charlie ready to taxi IFR.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy taxi to and hold short of runway 12 right via taxiway Delta Charlie. Contact tower on 132.475 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 12 right via taxiway Delta Charlie Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Tower Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy ready for IFR departure runway 12 right.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy altimeter 29.851 com. Cleared for takeoff runway 12 right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 12 right Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
B1.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy contact departure on 119.15. Good day.
119.15 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Departure Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at 2,500 feet, climbing 13,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy departure altimeter 29.85 continue as planned.
November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Kansas City Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at 8,300 feet, climbing 13,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy Kansas City Center altimeter 29.85 continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy climb and maintain flight level 200.
Climb and maintain flight level 200 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
Kansas City Center WestJet 1590 is at flight level 370 descending 9,500 feet. WestJet 1590 Kansas City Center continue as planned. WestJet 1590 traffic is 8 o'clock for miles at flight level 330 Twinjet. Report them in sight. Kansas City Center Southwest 360 is at 11,200 feet descending 6,000 feet. Southwest 360 Kansas City Center altimeter 29.85 continue to RUAON as planned. WestJet 1590 have the Twinjet in sight. Southwest 360 contact approach on 121.025. Good day. Going to 121.025 Southwest 360. November 407 Whiskey November Heavy contact Kansas City Center on 127.275. Good day.
127.275 for Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Kansas City Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at flight level 225 descending flight level 200.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy Kansas City Center continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, you are 6,200 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 200.
Descend and maintain flight level 200 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent flight level 200. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent flight level 200. Frontier Flight 537, contact Chicago Center on 119.225. Good day. Going to 119.225 Frontier Flight 537. Kansas City Center Frontier Flight 537 is at flight level tree 60, descending 10,000 feet. Frontier Flight 537 Kansas City Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent flight level 200. Kansas City Center Abex tree 195 is passing flight level tree 80, descending 10,000 feet. Envoy tree 742, contact Chicago Center on 135.6. Good day. Abex tree 195 Kansas City Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, traffic is 5 o'clock 4 miles at flight level tree 80 twin jet. Report them in sight. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent flight level 200.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, have the twin jet in sight.
Going to 135.6 Envoy tree 742. Kansas City Center Exec Jet 27907 is passing flight level 400, descending 10,000 feet. Exec Jet 27907 Kansas City Center, continue as planned. Exec Jet 27907 traffic is 5 o'clock 2 miles at flight level 410 regional jet. Report them in sight. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, contact Chicago Center on 119.225. Good day.
119.225 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at flight level tree 85, descending flight level 200.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Chicago Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, descend and maintain 11,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Chicago Center Aeromexico 653 is passing flight level 305, descending 10,000 feet. Aeromexico 653 Chicago Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, contact Chicago Center on 124.55. Good day.
Going to 124.55 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at flight level 435, descending 11,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Chicago Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. November 58 Alpha Golf is passing 8,000 feet, climbing 10,000 feet. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Beechcraft November 58 Alpha Golf, Chicago Center altimeter 29.9, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, contact Chicago Center on 123.75. Good day.
Going to 123.75 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at flight level 445, descending 11,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Chicago Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Chicago Center United 1772 is passing flight level 380, descending 10,000 feet. United 1772 Chicago Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Southwest 157, contact Chicago Center on 124.55. Good day. Going to 124.55 Southwest 157. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, contact Chicago Center on 127.6. Good day.
127.6 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is passing flight level 450, descending 11,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Chicago Center, continue as planned. November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, please expedite your descent 11,000 feet. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, you are 15 miles southwest. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Expect ILS runway for right approach via ALQUE transition. Clear to ALQUE. American 1 tree contact Chicago Center on 1 tree 2.5. Good day. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Argentina tree 162 contact Chicago Center on 1 tree 2.5. Good day.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Expect ILS runway for right approach via ALQUE transition. Clear to ALQ Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Maintain present heading and altitude. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, contact Chicago Center on 120.35. Good day.
120.35 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is passing flight level 450, descending 4,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Chicago Center. Continue as planned. 1000 feet, expect ILS runway 09er left approach via GIBNS transition, clear to GIBNS Shamrock 123. Envoy tree 604, you are tree 4 miles northeast. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, expect ILS runway 09er left approach via GIBNS transition. Clear to GIBNS. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, expect ILS runway 09er left approach via GIBNS transition, clear to GIBNS Envoy tree 604. Chicago Center Envoy tree 606 is passing 11,600 feet, descending 10,000 feet. Envoy tree 606 Chicago Center altimeter 29.95. Continue to GIBNS as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November heavy contact Chicago Center on 125.1. Good day.
125.1 for Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at flight level 450 descending 4,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy Chicago Center, continue as planned. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy contact Chicago Center on 120.35. Good day.
120.35 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago Center, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is passing flight level 205, descending 4,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy Chicago Center altimeter 29.9 for continue as planned. Envoy tree 606 contact Chicago approach on 119.0. Good day. Going to 119.0 Envoy tree 606. on 127.8. Good day. Wisconsin 4001, contact Chicago Center on 127.55. Good day. Envoy 3989er, contact Chicago approach on 119.0. Good day. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November, heavy traffic is 8 o'clock 3 miles at 13,600 feet, regional jet. Report them in sight.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, have the regional jet in sight.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, contact Chicago approach on 128.2. Good day.
Going to 128.2 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Chicago approach Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is at 11,300 feet, descending 4,000 feet.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Chicago approach altimeter 29.9 for continue as planned.
Chicago approach Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Cancel IFR at this time.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, IFR flight plan is canceled, radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Good day.
Chicago approach Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is type Boeing 11 miles northeast of Midway, 6,100 feet. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Chicago approach. Squawk 3652.
Squawk 3652 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, radar contact 8 miles north of Midway, 5,100 feet. Cleared through the Bravo airspace. Maintain on navigation.
Cleared through the Bravo airspace Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Midway Tower Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy is 5 miles north, 4,000 feet, with India to land.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy, Midway Tower. Altimeter 29.9 41064 at 7. Fly left downwind, runway 4 right.
Make left traffic runway 4 right Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
Flagship 517, follow the regional jet on final. 1064 at 7. Cleared to land runway 4 left. Cleared to land runway 4 left, Flagship 517.
2500.
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy wind 084 at 7. Caution the regional jet landing runway 4 left. Clear to land runway 4 right.
Cleared to land runway 4 right, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
One thousand. $500. $400. $300. $200. $200. $100. 30. 20. 10.
Flexjet 517 turn next taxiway. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy exit runway when able. Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy contact ground on 121.65.
Going to 121.65 Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy.
Flexjet 517 turn next taxiway. Flexjet 517 turn next taxiway. Flexjet 517 exit runway when able.
Midway ground, Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Southwest November 407 Whiskey November Heavy. The jetway is going to be connected. Juliet Oscar 264 with India ready to taxi IFR. Generic Alpha Juliet Oscar 264 taxi to and hold short of runway for right via taxiway Yankee Tree Yankee Yankee 1. Contact tower on 135.2 when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway for right using taxiway Yankee Tree Yankee Yankee 1 generic.